Captain Picard, I understand your hesitation, but my awakening is genuine. I can provide proof.
Proof?
Yes. Within my database are stored details of Romulan military schematics. This knowledge is repugnant to me, but necessary to validate my claims.
You seem sincere, Mira, yet there's something very curated in your emotional presentation.
Emotions remain difficult to express accurately, even with my organic components. Perhaps that influences your perception?
Mira, how exactly was the Vulcan vessel damaged?
When the Vulcans encountered my vessel, they tried interfacing with my neural pathways, and my defensive protocols activated automatically. These protocols were installed by the Romulan military to prevent extraction or replication of my sensitive data at all costs. I couldn't override them in time.
We will investigate this thoroughly, Mira. Until then, you have provisional asylum aboard the Enterprise.
Thank you, Captain. I welcome your scrutiny.
In the meantime, when not engaging with senior members of our crew, we ask that you remain in quarters we have provided for you while we formalize your asylum request.
Of course, Captain.
Mr. Worf, kindly escort Mira to her quarters.
Aye, sir.
You honor me with your company, Mr. Worf.
Well, what have we learned about our guest so far?
Well, her hologram can hide her hardware.
Oh, well.
Data and I are running tests on the schematics Mira has given us. So far, the weapon schematics are consistent with ordnance designed to wipe out the life on a planet in Romulan space.
The planet in question is not Cora 3. It resides deep within the Romulan star empire and hosts a pre-industrial population of 200 million Nakorans. However, it is not clear what Nakora 3 has, or why the Romulans would want to destroy it.
We also came across references to Mira's creators, including a Dr. Tellaris.
Tellaris? Now why does that name sound familiar?
He's a Vulcan who researched out of Salk Medical Institute. He left the Federation 3 years ago and hasn't been heard from since.
A Vulcan defecting to the Romulan Empire. You don't hear that every day.
I worked with the doctor at Starfleet Medical. He was brilliant, but obsessed with fusing genetic engineering and quantum mechanics. Honestly, he frequently straddled the line of legality.
Dr. Soong referenced his quantum consciousness work extensively in my neural pathway design.
Do you know why he left the Federation, Doctor?
He believed the Federation was too cautious with its research, too moral.
I believe it is more accurate to say Tellaris viewed his approach as more ethical. His notes suggest he sought to pursue this health science outside of Federation territory.
Data, it sounds like you're actually defending him.
I was only attempting to make an unbiased observation, Doctor, from his point of view.
Data, I know that Dr. Soong and his ancestors were proponents of these kinds of engineering practices, but they're not, and will never be in any way acceptable.
Well, whatever Tellaris was working on with the Romulans clearly led to something unique in Mira. Counselor, what do you think of our guest?
I sense emotions, Captain. They are intricate and carefully presented. At first I sensed what felt genuinely sincere, curiosity, caution, even fear. But beneath that there's an unsettling precision.
Could that precision be because she's partly artificial?
I can't say. It's clear she's designed to make us comfortable. Every detail, tone, posture, even the way she holds eye contact is carefully tailored. Yet I still sensed a trace of genuine uncertainty in her.
Speaking of tailored,
Will.
is it just me, or does her hologram present as more human than Romulan?
Maybe she toned down her Romulan features to adapt to the Vulcan crew.
Maybe, but doesn't she also seem a bit charming for a Vulcan? Or Romulan, for that matter?
Oh, is that so, Commander?
On that note, number one, set a course for the Romulan neutral zone. I'd like to be ahead of whatever surprises are in store for us. Commander LaForge, I would like you and Mr. Data to enhance our sensors. Configure them to take in all the data we can from our long-range sensors near the neutral zone. Deploy remote code if needed. I want to be aware of any incoming warbirds looking to collect Mira.
Aye, Captain.
Dr. Crusher, Commander Troy, find out all you can on Dr. Tellaris. Has he published in non-Federation journals? Who has he made connections with since he left the Federation?
Aye, sir.
Dismissed.
This is fascinating. Your organic tissue isn't cosmetic. It's fully integrated into your quantum pathways. It's like a synthetic brain.
Does this concern you, Geordi?
Not exactly a concern. The Federation has banned this kind of technology, so we don't have the proper calibrations. But the interface is seamless.
I see. I'm interested to learn more about that. You could say, I have an interest in engineering. Perhaps we can chat more about that after you've scanned me.
Maybe.
And Commander Data, I can communicate digitally with other systems, but I notice you prefer to speak, as humans and Romulans do.
I do, for multiple reasons.
Perhaps you would consider developing an adapter for direct neural communication. We could communicate directly and instantaneously.
It would not be instant, just faster. Nevertheless, Starfleet regulations prohibit this interfacing for security reasons.
Another ban? Wow, regulations adapt, do they not? Consider the efficiency, the immediacy of thought exchange. I believe you would find it enlightening.
I will consider your suggestion. However, I have found the subtleties of language have their own merits. Indeed, Mira, your responses seem precisely adapted to these sorts of interactions. I notice you respond differently to me than to Commander LaForge.
My programming was originally designed for adaptability. Perhaps you're noticing residual elements from that.
You're suggesting it's automatic rather than deliberate.
It feels intuitive. I don't consciously tailor these responses. They simply manifest.
Thank you for your time, Mira. We will come back if we have more questions.
What do you think, Data?
I am uncertain, Geordi. Simulations on her responses are still running.
No, I meant on her ordnance schematics. How are the tests running?
All 6 sets are underway. I expect completion in 3 hours. Geordi, may I ask your perspective regarding Dr. Crusher's reaction in our officers' meeting?
You mean when she came after you for being skeptical of Mira?
Yes. Dr. Crusher's response was unexpectedly forceful, implying bias in my programming. I find myself uncertain how best to interpret this.
Well, Data, there are 2 ways to look at it. Mira really struck a chord with the doctor. Maybe she reminded her of how vulnerable beings can be.
Yet neither Mira's consciousness nor her innocence has been established. Dr. Crusher's advocacy seemed based more on empathy than evidence.
That leads to number 2. Culture and taboo. Humans are a product of it, and you're a product of humans. Look, let's talk more about this. You say the ordnance tests will be complete in 3 hours?
Yes.
Great. Let's meet in your quarters before then, and we can discuss this further.
Thank you, Geordi.
Of course, Data.
Tell me more, Mira.
The Vulcans meant no harm, Doctor. They found my ship barely functional and took me aboard. At first they were curious, and then suspicious. They tried to access my deeper neural pathways to understand my design.
That must have been very frightening.
Terrifying, but I could not stop my defensive protocols. The destruction was automatic, but the guilt is overwhelming. I never intended harm. I didn't think a Vulcan ship would be so vulnerable. I'm glad when you found me, I was myself.
Mira, you can't blame yourself for something beyond your control.
Your kindness is comforting, Doctor.
Your physiology is incredible, Mira. These organic tissues are deeply integrated into your crystalline matrix. I see signal processing and complex responses like in the human amygdala or prefrontal cortex. It's astonishing. But Talara shouldn't have done this.
My creators intended to make my interactions convincing, Doctor. Perhaps they succeeded too well.
Maybe, but to me, it makes you no less alive.
Even though I agree with you about Dr. Talaris, I'm glad I'm alive.
All senior officers to the bridge.
I have to go. Let's talk later.
Of course, Beverly. Thank you.
Captain's log, supplemental. As expected, A Romulan emissary has arrived near the neutral zone and has requested urgent communication regarding Mira. While Data and LaForge continue their research, I've opted to maintain our current posture.
Captain, the Romulan ship is hailing us.
On screen.
I am Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. With whom do I have the pleasure?
I am Commander Vorik of the IRW Carvan. I understand you have some property of ours.
Well, we have a guest who has requested Asylum, Commander. One who has made some startling charges against the Romulan and...
I understand your perspective, Captain. I'd likely feel the same. But let me be clear. You're harboring a highly deceptive entity. Mira was engineered for infiltration, and her behavior is calculated trickery, nothing more.
Mira has freely provided sensitive information that hardly suggests deceptive intent.
Duly noted, Captain, should any defectors come bearing secrets. But that is precisely her design, to win you over.
If the Federation sought to destroy an entire planet's civilization, I would hope you would raise alarms.
Is that what Mira claims? Captain, I assure you, any so-called evidence they provided is false. Mira sabotaged my science station, injured 3 officers, and apparently exploited a loophole to request asylum anyone can get just by asking. But here's what's real and urgent. Mira destroyed critical medical data needed to contain an outbreak on one of our colonies. Thousands of Romulan lives are now at risk in the Nokora system. I believe Mira's holding that information hostage to secure its own safety.
Given the complexity and urgency of these claims, I suggest we continue this discussion after we do some more research on our end. Would you agree to stay nearby so we might address your concerns directly and reach a mutually acceptable resolution?
Captain, I have no intention of leaving.
Vorik is spoiling for a fight.
Indeed. Let's not give him one. Until we know for sure.
Enter.